You are listening to the Always a Rebel podcast, and I am your host, Jon Magnusson. This is the 12th episode of the podcast and the second since I revived it. And today I'm going to go back to a format that's more similar to the one I had before the summer. I will speak about what's going on in my musical life, and that is a lot, and also a little bit about the reactions I got from last week's episode. And then I'm introducing a new theme for the podcast that's behind the songs, where I will tell the story and a little extra information about a song that I have written. And today I'm going back to my roots, to the absolute first song I ever written and recorded. So stay tuned and let's play intro. But a rebel, yeah, rebel you are. And as a rebel you can go where the wind blows. Before we get down to business, I wanted to ask you that if you like this podcast, give it a like, share, comment, or subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. That means a lot to me and helps me reach even more people. So I got a lot of kind words for last week's episode, both for the podcast being back, but also regarding the personal issues that I'm going through and will probably have to deal with for some time to come. The nicest message I got was from my good friend Mike, who also a musician, and I just wanted to read out what he wrote. I wanted to say I really enjoyed this episode of the podcast. Although perhaps sometimes painful and always hard to do, I strongly encourage you to keep the personal stories in future episodes. Good or bad, it's enlightening and comforting to hear a folk singer talking honestly about their life and makes the music feel much more personal to the listener. For the average listener, this deeply personal touch is really powerful. I'd also love to hear more stories and more detail on your journey as you follow your dream, and I suspect I'm not alone in that. Keep up the good work, brother. Much love from Mike. I got very moved from this message and also very encouraged to keep being personal in this podcast. On a lot of other social media platforms, it's kind of easy to just show a polished surface and not really getting behind the scenes on what's really going on. So I really love this way of being able to communicate on a more personal level. So thank you very much, Mike, for those kind words. And I actually going to end the episode with a tune from the band of his, 1 in 5, and that's also the t-shirt I'm wearing today. So stay tuned to hear that if you like kind of bluesy hard rock. I also got a really nice comment from one of my most loyal followers, Dennis, who writes, "Sing more, Jon. Your Always a Rebel song is wonderful. You have a great voice. Sing more." So thank you for that comment, Dennis, and I promise I will keep singing. And now to some exciting news regarding my own music. Since I spent most of the time these last 2 months to build up the business side of things, I didn't have that much time to do what I really love, recording music. So 2 days ago I met up with a good friend of mine, Eric, to start recording an acoustic and live session of the Always a Rebel EP. I also contracted a really great videographer, and he shot all the performances, so it will also be some kind of live video performance. I'm not really sure how I will release all of this, but probably it will be exclusive to my mailing list subscribers, or at least at first. Talking about the mailing list, 1 month ago I abandoned my Messenger channel as my premium way to communicate with you as a listener. That's because I got so tired of Facebook all the time changing the rules and how I was able to use Messenger, and also that Facebook owns all the data with a mailing list where I own the data, or as well the subscriber can just choose to unsubscribe and have me remove all their data, which is not possible with Facebook. So if you want a more direct connection with me and also get all the news and exclusive music, I can highly recommend that you go to jonmagnusson.se/journey to sign up to my mailing list. That's jonmagnusson.se/journey. Another extremely exciting thing this week is that I got contacted by an old vocal coach of mine who also held a singer-songwriter course that I took about 3.5 years ago, and she wanted me to come and have a lecture for the people doing the course right now. I'm really excited about this, but also kind of nervous because it's the first time I'm going to stand in front of people and talk without a guitar in my hand. But I will share my experiences of taking my music from a hobby level to a professional level, and I hope I will be able to inspire some of them to do the same. And I will of course let you all know how it went next week. And to tie this thing up, I will play the song that I played 3.5 years ago when we had a graduation concert for the singer-songwriter course. This is I'm Not the Only One. Got nothing left in my pockets. Don't wanna sell my soul, it's nothing worth. Got nothing else here to offer. Look at me, I'm broke, I lost control. There's nothing left to see. There's no one else to be. I cannot sleep tonight, but I'm not the only one. Come lay your arms around me. Come share my goals. Come raise my hope. And feed my hair through your fingers. Move them down my bones. Just make it slow. There's nothing left to see. There's no one else to be. I cannot sleep tonight, but I'm not the only one. In the end there's nothing to die for, nothing to show, nothing to adore. Just give my life a new sound. Soon we'll be old, so come make me glow. There's nothing left to see. There's no one else to be. I cannot sleep tonight, but I'm not the only one. You might have heard that my voice isn't the best at the moment. I'm starting to get a cold, and this will probably be the last vocal performance I'm making in a couple of days. Anyhow, this was I'm Not the Only One from my EP Always a Rebel. If you are a music nerd like me, you might have heard that in the intro there is one measure that's in 5/4 time instead of the regular 4/4. And I like to do like that, making songs that are not overly complicated but throw some quirkiness in them to make them a bit more interesting. Well, speaking of writing music, now it's time for the new theme of the podcast, Behind the Songs, and today I'm going back to the absolute first song I ever wrote. It's in Swedish and the name is Sagan om den fattiga pojken och den rika flickan, which translates to the tale about the poor boy and the rich girl. And here is a little snippet from it so you know what I'm talking about. And then I will play the whole song afterwards. Nu vill jag er behaga med en kort men vacker saga om ett lyckligt nyförälskat par i sina unga dagar. Pojkens far var arbetslös och flickans han var direktör. Pojken hinkade billigt öl och flickan drack likör. Men flickan ville inte leva ett liv i sus och dus. Hon ville dela sina stunder med någon som vet hur man har kul. This song was written way back in 2003 when I was just 17 years old. Me and some friends went camping near a lake in the little town where I grew up. And there was this girl, she and I had kind of a history and we ended up fooling around that night. And even though nothing really exciting happened between us then, we only slept a few hours. When I came home the day after, I was still kind of dizzy and I sat down with my guitar and got this theme of a classic love song between a boy and a girl. To make it a little bit more interesting and not as autobiographical, I made the boy poor and the girl rich. And just like that, I had the theme for my very own first song. The song is in Swedish and follows kind of a classic Swedish folk tradition. I have tried to interpret the lyrics in English, but I never really got it right. It's like some songs are meant to be sung and heard in their original language. So I hope you will enjoy it even though it's in Swedish. The story revolves around two young adults which relationship isn't approved by the girl's dad. He's a really rich and conservative guy, but in the end their love overcomes all the troubles and it's like kind of a Romeo and Juliet story with a happy ending. Even if 16 years has passed since I wrote and recorded this song, I still think it holds up pretty well, and I'm actually thinking of re-recording it for my Swedish EP that I'm working on at the moment. But for now you can enjoy the very first song I wrote and recorded. This is Sagan om den fattiga pojken och den rika flickan. Nu vill jag er behaga med en kort men vacker saga om ett lyckligt nyförälskat par i sina unga dagar. Pojkens far var arbetslös och flickans han var direktör. Pojken hinkade billigt öl och flickan drack likör. Men flickan ville inte leva ett liv i sus och dus. Hon ville dela sina stunder med någon som vet hur man har kul. Pappan han vart inte glad över sin dotters val, men deras kärlek var för stark, starkare än hans. Till slut så fick flickan nog, hon tog sina saker, hon drog, hon sa till sin far: du, jag vill inte vara kvar. Jag är så jävla trött på dina överklassfasoner. Gå du och vältra dig i dina miljoner. Inget vill jag ha av dig, du är bara skabb. Mina dagar vill jag leva med en arbetargrabb. För hon ville inte leva ett bortkastat liv. Hon vill inte slösa sina dagar, ingenting att göra än att vara rik. Så kom det sig att de flyttade till ett eget hem. Och vad som kommer senare kan jag berätta sen. So I hope you enjoy this little dive into my musical history, and please let me know your thoughts on whatever platform you're using in a comment, or even better, email me at info@jonmagnusson.se. info@jonmagnusson.se. Talking about history, for the cover song of today, I'm going to do an instrumental interpretation of the American folk song Freight Train, originally written by Elizabeth Cotton in the early 20th century and is a big part of the American folk history. Elizabeth Cotton lived to be 94 years old, and she actually got a fingerstyle guitar technique named after her. So here it is, my interpretation of Freight Train. So thank you very much for listening, and if you want to get in touch, please leave a comment or email me at info@jonmagnusson.se. And as promised, to end this week's episode, I'm going to play a song from the band 1 in 5. My favorite tune of theirs, Evolve. Thank you for listening, and remember, always be a rebel. But a rebel, yeah, a rebel you are. And as a rebel